The Giants season is officially over. Welcome back to the Everything New York Giants podcast with New York Giants fangirl. I'm your host, Adrianna. Today's episode recapping the atrocious, abysmal, pathetic Giants loss at home to the Eagles. The Giants lost 28-3. Drew Lock gets put in the game. Dexter Lawrence gets taken out and lose a couple guys to injuries. I left the game early again yesterday, and I was just thinking to myself that I can't believe that this is where we're at again. And I almost wasn't even mad. Like, I just was depressed, just sad that we spend months and months of the offseason getting excited to watch this football team play. I spent 8 hours at MetLife Stadium yesterday, 8 hours. And you guys know I live in Connecticut. I don't live around the corner from MetLife. So I've got another almost 2 hours in the car each way back and forth my entire day. And I'm very grateful because I didn't have to pay for tickets yesterday. I was gifted tickets and I got to spend the game in the starter's suite, which is the only reason why I didn't leave the game in the middle of the third quarter, like a lot of other Giants fans did. And I don't blame them one bit. We spend so much time waiting for this. We get 17 weeks. 17 weeks. That's it. And it's week 7 and it's over. It's over for this team. I don't have a single hope that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think Dable is going to make it through this season. Maybe he'll make it through the season. I don't think he's going to be here next year. And I just am disappointed. I just am sad. Like, what I'm most angry about is the stubbornness that I see from Dable, because what he's done in clearly not learning from mistakes is so wildly frustrating to us as fans. Like, I just don't know how you could have seen everything that you have seen over Joshua Ezeudu, from Joshua Ezeudu over the last year, and said he is our best chance to win. He is our best option at left tackle. And not only said that with a straight face to everyone, probably including John Mara, and then gone out there and let him do it. Like that, he was serious. Dead serious about that. And we can argue about whether or not we think Drew Lock is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. I personally don't think he is. I agree with the coaching staff in the sense that Jones gives us the best chance to win. But at this point, you have to sit Jones, because the injury guarantee is one thing. But when you have players on this roster who are very obviously giving up in the middle of the game and taking plays off, obviously it's on the player. Deonte Banks should have been benched immediately after he went like this to Jalen Hurts, who's running down the sideline. Immediately after that, should have been benched, and there's no excuse. Jerome Henderson was freaking out at him on the sidelines. This is now the second time that Banks has done that. It's week 7. It is week 7. You are not Dexter Lawrence. You are not Bobby Okereke, okay? I don't think anyone should be allowed to give up. It's weak behavior, and if you do that, you should be benched. But to be honest, if anyone is going to do that, it should be Dexter Lawrence and not a single other person on this roster. So the fact that Dexter Lawrence is out there working his ass off, play after play, getting sacks and doing what he can do, and then you've got players like Tay Banks being lazy, It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It really is. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, and it's a gross negligence to the fans who spend their hard-earned time and money. Do you know what else we all could be doing on a Sunday? We'd actually be enjoying ourselves and enjoying a beautiful Sunday afternoon instead of spending 7 hours at MetLife Stadium to watch that pathetic performance and to watch players like Deonte Banks, who is not Dexter Lawrence, who is not the best corner in the league, decide to take plays off. Have fun when fans don't show up to games anymore. You have fun playing for empty crowds, for crowds of other teams who are booing you in your home stadium. You can have fun doing that because that's what your future is. That's what the rest of this season is going to look like. Because even if they put in Drew Lock, you think Giants fans are going to show up in Drew Lock jerseys and are going to show up and feel optimistic that this team is going to win games? When you've got a left tackle who is horrific, absolutely horrific, but he's not the only one because the rest of the offensive line decided that they were going to take time off yesterday too. And I don't think that any of them were being lazy. They had a horrible day. The players on the right side, I cannot understand for the life of me why they were so horrifically bad when Andrew Thomas was not there. And I understand that Andrew Thomas is the best player on this offensive line. We all know that. Anyone who's not even a Giants fan knows that. But the fact that his loss was so big and drastic that it affected the entire right side of the line, because now you can't leave Joshua Ezeudu on an island, where Andrew Thomas, you could leave him out there to do his own thing. He doesn't need extra people helping him. Joshua Ezeudu needs extra people and then some helping him. And the right side of the line just gave it up. Gave up 8 sacks yesterday. And I mean, thank God it wasn't like watching last year's offensive line. They weren't even that bad, but they had the worst game that they've had this year. And then you've got Daboll, who you finally got Singletary back. You've got Tyrone Tracy. You go into a game again with one of the worst. You're going against one of the worst run defenses in the league. One of the worst run defenses in the league. This is a talking Giant stat. In the first half yesterday, on 33 plays, they handed the ball off 4 times. 4 times. At the end of the first quarter, it was still 0-0. 0-0. So why are you coming out and throwing the ball every single play? 29 out of 33 plays, you're throwing the ball. With a quarterback who's afraid to throw the ball downfield, who misses wide open receivers, and it looks absolutely terrified out there. I understand that in Hard Knocks, you said we're not paying Saquon Barkley $13 million a year to get handed the ball from a $40 million a year quarterback. I get that. You cannot succeed in the NFL if you never run the ball. Against bad run defenses. I get you don't want to come out running the ball when you're playing against a team that's a really good run defense. Fine. You switch up your strategy. You don't do that to start off the game against one of the worst run defenses in the league. Why are you not at least trying to run the ball and see what happens? And I don't want to hear some shit in the comments that, oh, that's why they didn't keep Saquon Barkley. Oh, Saquon Barkley was on the team. They would have handed the ball off. No, they fucking would have. They wouldn't have. Okay? Because they had success running the ball with Tyrone Tracy 2 weeks ago against Seattle. So why aren't they doing that again? Against the Bengals, who have a bad run defense, and against the Eagles. It's not because they don't have Saquon Barkley. Enough with the Saquon stuff. Has nothing to do with it. It's the game plan. It's the fact that Andrew Thomas going out destroyed this whole line. It's the fact that this coaching staff is so stubborn in their decisions that they are forcing a square peg into a round hole at the detriment of their entire offense. And you've got Malik Neighbors after the game saying, watch the tape, I was open. You've got Tay Banks taking plays off. You're taking your quarterback out, saying that you want to spark by putting in Drew Lock. And yet you score 3 points at a home game versus a team who's not very good, whose coach is getting embarrassed week in and week out, and his own fans and players literally want the coach fired. And you go into that game and that's your game plan and that's what you do at home. It's just like I don't even know the right word for it. It's disgusting, it's embarrassing, it's pathetic, it's ridiculous, it's stupid. Like it's all of these things. So here's where I'm at, okay? Because do we want to go through the stats? I don't really think anyone cares. I think that a lot of fans turn the game off. I saw DMs come through when I was at the game that they turned the game off and enjoyed their Sunday, and good for you. That's exactly what you should have done. I missed part of Drew Lock's snaps because I said, I literally don't care. I am leaving. I don't care. If Drew Lock throws a touchdown, good for him. Great job. I don't care. We're down 28-3 in the fourth quarter with 15 minutes left. I literally don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. So this is where I'm at with this team and what I want to see them do. I want to see them move Ezeudu to the bench. He can be a backup guard. Move him back to guard. He's not a tackle. It's enough with the experiment. Move Evan Neal. This I want you guys to understand that this is how, and I know you guys know, this is how bad it is for Giants fans, okay? That we are at the point, and I don't know, some of you might agree with me, some of you might tell me I'm certifiably insane. That is fine. I would rather see Evan Neal at left tackle than Ezeudu. I'm dead ass. I am dead serious when I say that. Put in Evan Neal. What do we have to lose at that point? Can he possibly be worse than Ezeudu? I really don't know. It's possible, sure. At this point, let's just see it. Why the hell not? And then put in Drew Lock. Because at this point, I think Daniel Jones is overall the better quarterback. But I think that in order to not lose the locker room and in order for your players to maybe feel like they have some semblance of a chance of scoring points on offense, and maybe they can go back to playing complementary football and you can keep the defense the slightest bit happy, that if they keep teams to 21 points or less, which is what they were doing until yesterday, that they would have a shot to win games. You have to do it at this point. And I don't know if that's going to give them any confidence. I don't know if the defense is going to say, I like DJ. He's a great guy. He works his ass off, but he's not it. Let's see what Drew Lock can do. I don't know. But at this point, if I'm the coach, that's what I would do, because you have to do something. You have to do something on offense. And the answer is not doing the same thing over and over. That's called the definition of insanity. When you do the same thing over and over and expect different results, and then you get the same results. It's literally insane, and it has to stop. And I know that so many people are screaming for Dable and Shane to get fired. And again, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. The reason why I personally don't feel like that is because, number one, I think Dable is limited with what he knows Daniel Jones is. It is not entirely his fault that Joe Shane didn't bring in a different backup quarterback. Part of it is his fault because he does things out of emotion. He did this last year. And I think maybe he should have understood that if he started DeVito over Tyrod, there was going to be some hard feelings there. Just like I'm sure Daniel Jones has hard feelings about the fact that they very obviously were trying to get a different quarterback after they just signed him to a 4-year deal. So I get it, but at some point, Jones is not going to be here next year. So you just have to say to him, like, I'm sorry. You got to put your feelings aside here. We've given you 6 years. I've given you 3 years, and you can't pull the trigger. It is what it is. Enough is enough. So I don't think they're going to do either of those things, but that's what I'd like to see them do. I know a lot of, I went live last night on Instagram, and I know a lot of people are like, what is the solution? Like, how do we fix this at this point? And in my opinion, that's the only way to attempt to fix it. Do I think it's going to solve things? No. Do I think we're all of a sudden going to start winning a bunch of games? No. But I think it sets a precedent. I think it says, I'm the coach. I understand what's going wrong here. And we're in the middle of the season. There's only so much that I can do. So I'm going to do what I can do. And that means getting rid of two of the people who are not good on the offense. I'm going to sit them down and we're going to try something else here and see if that works. And maybe it's going to work and maybe it's not going to work, but you don't know until you try. And trying same shit over and over with the same results and expecting something different is insane. It's insane. Enough is enough. So, like I said, does anyone care about stats? I don't really think anyone cares. They rushed for 76 yards, the Giants. 76 yards. So you're not going to win games when you do that, okay? And they passed for 105 yards. Not going to win games when you do that. Malik had 8 targets, 4 receptions for 41 yards. Wandale had, hold on. I just got a tweet from Adam Schefter. Giants head coach said that Daniel Jones is still a starting quarterback for week 8 on Monday Night Football versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am going to stream that game. So you guys join me live, and, we'll get through it together. Okay, so maybe let's talk through some other ideas since Jones is still going to be the starter. You still have to do something about the offensive line. You cannot trot Ezeudu out there at left tackle. You cannot do that under any circumstances. I don't want to see it. So again, that's what I would do. I would keep Illuminor at right tackle, move Evan Neal to left tackle. Again, I still would switch out the quarterback because you've got the injury guarantee. And it's not something that I would risk right now. And I understand that Dable is, I think as a coach, it's really hard to find a balance of living for the now and planning for the future, because Dable is also probably thinking, well, if my team continues to shit the bed week in and week out, especially on offense, I'm supposed to be this offensive-minded master, and I can't get the offense to score a singular touchdown, a singular passing touchdown at home. I just don't know how you say I'm going to keep things the same, because now I feel like if he continues to do that, he's going to get fired. So then you run the risk of, well, if Dable's not here, what if Jones gets injured? So now we've got a new head coach, and then we've got to pay Daniel Jones an injury guarantee. That would be the worst case scenario, I think. So if I'm Dable, I think you just got to find that balance. And if they're still going to start Jones this week, I mean, at this point, I don't know. Maybe they give him till the bye. I didn't really think they would after this game. I just don't think that people fully understand. I know that us as fans do, because we all hate Philadelphia. Like, we understand the hatred. Saquon got booed every single time he touched the ball yesterday. Every single time. And it wasn't just him. They also booed. We also booed the Eagles. We literally hate them. They are our division rival. And we are now 0-3 in the division. And we got embarrassed by a pathetic Philadelphia team at home. They're not even very good. They're not. They have a coach who's on the hot seat. They have a quarterback who literally hates him, who leads the NFL in turnovers, who didn't have a single turnover yesterday. Not one. What other stats can we talk about? So Dable is talking to the press right now. So this actually works. Let's talk about what Dable's saying to the press. Dable on not getting Neal reps. Just wanted to stick with guys that were in there. That was his response. I guess someone asked, why is Evan Neal not getting reps, probably at left tackle? Now, they said that Neal has been getting all of his reps at right tackle, not left tackle. That's why they haven't put him in there. Dable says they will have a discussion about Ezeudu playing next week. He thinks he settled down as the game went on, but they will discuss during the week about his playing status, because that's what the beat writers asked. Dable was asked about Banks. Obviously, we want max effort on every play, so we addressed that. I want to go back to this again for a second, because on that, the Giants stopped them on 3rd and 3, Stop the Eagles. I think this was in the second half. Then on the 4th and 3 ball, obviously they go for it because the Giants have given them nothing at this point to say, we're not going to go for it because they're going to stop us. So on 4th and 3, they go for it and they see that Nick McLeod is one-on-one with A.J. Brown. We found out later that Cordell Flott left the game, was questionable to return with a hamstring injury, but this was not available information at the time. So everyone like myself who was like, what the actual F is McLeod doing one-on-one against A.J. Brown? It makes sense now. But my other problem with this is Shane Bowen. You couldn't get safety coverage on that. I understand it's 4th down and you think that they're probably going to run it, but come on. A.J. Brown with McLeod, really? The Eagles continue to go for it on 4th down every single time. When they were 0 for 4 on 3rd down, they still went for it. And do you know how they ended, at least when I had left the game? 3 for 3 on 4th down conversions. So thanks, Shane Bowen. Great play call. Yeah, some of the soft coverage, and he's like the least of my concerns, honestly, with all the other shit that is happening right now with the organization and this team. But the soft coverage that he's been calling, especially towards the end of the game, really pisses me off. I just don't get it. A.J. Brown is one of the better receivers in the league. I had to take a little coffee break for those of you who are listening, because that's what I need, more coffee when discussing this team. But I do, because then last night I'm watching the Steelers-Jets game and I'm just like, great. This is great. Fantastic. Can't wait to play them on Monday Night Football. I can't wait with a team who's 1-14. Their quarterback is 1-14 on primetime. Can't wait to play the Steelers. Oh, you know what else I saw? When Drew Lock came in, 2 fumbles. And I understand, look, this guy hasn't gotten any first team reps. But come on, your first job is hold on to the ball. I have nothing else to say. 2 fumbles. He recovered one of them. Greg Van Roten, thank God, recovered the other one. I'm just like, what are we doing here? You know what the worst part is? It's our defense had 5 sacks. Dexter Lawrence had 2 of them. We are wasting Dexter Lawrence's prime. And the thing that I worry about now is that he's going to ask for a trade. And I think Dexter Lawrence is one of the best personalities on this team. I think he's humble. I think he's hungry. He works his ass off. I love him. And I would be absolutely devastated if he got traded. But I just don't know how you could look him in the face and say, we're going to turn it around. I mean, I would not say that to Dexter Lawrence's face, because he sees what's going on and he sees what's happening with the offense. And he's thinking, I've still got 10 games left to play. And I want to play them because I'm not lazy like Deonte Banks. I want to play and I want to play well. And he goes out there yesterday and has 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. And, now it's at the point where it's like, I feel pretty good about the defense, especially moving forward. We need a quarterback. We need a cornerback. We need a wide receiver, someone who can catch the ball, make contested catches. How about that? We need some more offensive line help. We need a swing tackle, probably among some other things. Special teams returner would also be nice. Maybe they should just elevate Turbo instead of putting Eric Gray back there again. Definition of insanity again. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with this team. Tyler Nubin had a nice game. I will say, I know a lot of people are down on Shane and the draft picks and things like that, and I get it, but his best class that he's had so far is playing really well now. Some guys like Dane Belton and McFadden from previous years have been playing well. Even Flott finally was playing well before he just got injured yesterday. So, and he's done some really nice work in the free agency. My biggest gripe with Shane still is that for 2 years now, he has not brought in a good swing tackle. That is my biggest problem with him. I know that everyone else's probably biggest problem with him is the Daniel Jones contract, and I get it. I still think not signing Saquon Barkley was the right move. And again, if you walked out of that game yesterday and said, if we sign Saquon, this team would be fixed, I really need you to like bang your head against the wall, because that's not the answer. It's really not. It's just not. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So let's talk about the future now, because I know that some of you guys are going to tune out and some of you don't care about Giants football, and I'm right. I get it. So I think this is what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm going to stick with 2 podcasts a week. I will probably recap games on Mondays, or next week, it'll be Tuesday. So I'll continue to recap the games. And then I think my second podcast during the week will be focusing on draft stuff, because I think that that's anyone cares about. Let me know in the YouTube comments here, guys, if you feel differently, if you want to talk about the Yankees. I mean, that's not going to last very long. And I'm sorry to all of my Mets fans. I was rooting for a Subway Series. World Series would have been epic. The Mets put up a hell of a fight, got a great team there. Definitely a bummer. So I don't watch basketball. Please don't ask me to cover the NBA. I don't know anything about the Knicks or basketball. But I am happy to go more into college football. I'm going to do my best to get some draft experts in the building so they can give us some guys to watch, obviously outside of the quarterbacks. I know that that's going to be the big focus this year, but corner, I think, is also going to be a big focus. I think they also need an interior defensive lineman. They need an offensive lineman. So there's going to be some other different positions that obviously we're going to want to focus on. I think the Giants are going to have about 7 or 8 draft picks next year unless they trade anyone. So that's it right now. Again, let me know what else you guys want to see from me. I'm going to be here. I understand those of you who are not, but this is what I do now, is I just talk about the Giants. So I will talk about them and talk about other things, but I'll be on Instagram tomorrow, back with my Q&A. So for those of you who don't follow New York Giants Fangirl. Every Tuesday I do a Q&A. I do more stories on there. I'm active way more. I mean, it's easier to be active on there, I think, than it is on these type of platforms. But so I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys listening. And look, we're in this together. So hopefully next year will be better. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Go Giants.